I'm sorry for leaving without a word, without an explanation. Sometimes the silence speaks louder than anything we could ever say, and I thought distancing myself would protect you from the hurt. But in reality, it was my own heart that needed healing. Now, I understand that the answers I left behind only created more questions. It was never my intention to leave you with a broken heart. I was lost within my own thoughts, struggling to understand myself before I could explain to you what was happening inside. I regret the way I left, and I wish I could turn back time to give you the closure you deserved. Leaving without explanation was a reflection of my own inability to face the truth. I thought I was protecting both of us by walking away silently, but in reality, I was avoiding the very conversation that could have brought us peace. I know the absence of an explanation only deepened your pain, and for that, I'm truly sorry. In the end, the silence wasn't the answer, and I now realize that facing the hurt and uncertainty together might have been the better path. When I left, I thought I was giving you space to move on, but I didn't consider how it might have left you in limbo, wondering what happened, questioning everything. I never meant to cause you more confusion, but now I see the need for honesty and closure that I failed to provide. It was a mistake to leave without saying anything. I thought I was doing what was best for you, thinking you wouldn't want to hear my broken thoughts. But now I understand that leaving you in silence only made things harder, and for that I am deeply sorry. I left without explanation because I wasn't strong enough to confront my own feelings. I was afraid of the truth, afraid of what you would think, and afraid of facing the consequences. Now I see that my fear was a poor excuse for abandoning you without closure. You deserved better than a sudden disappearance with no explanation. I should have found the strength to talk to you, to express my feelings instead of running away. I regret leaving things the way they were, and I wish I could offer the closure that you so rightfully deserve. It was never easy for me to walk away without telling you why. I thought if I left, it would give both of us time to heal. But now I realize it only made things more complicated. I wish I had the courage to explain myself before I left. Leaving without a word was a cowardly move on my part. I should have known that leaving you with questions was not a solution. My own confusion and inability to face the truth created more hurt than I ever imagined. I thought I was doing you a favor by slipping away quietly, not realizing the pain I was causing by not providing an explanation. Now I understand that leaving without closure only left us both tangled in unanswered questions, and for that, I am sorry. The silence I gave you was deafening, and it was my own fear and confusion that kept me from explaining myself. I wish I had the strength to tell you what was going on in my mind instead of leaving you in the dark. I am sorry for the hurt I caused. I can't undo the past, but I can acknowledge the mistakes I made. Leaving without an explanation was one of them. I thought silence would help, but in reality, it only made things worse. For the confusion and pain I caused you, I am truly sorry. The decision to leave without saying anything was driven by my own inability to understand my feelings. I was too afraid to confront the reality of our relationship, and in doing so, I left you with nothing but unanswered questions. I regret that deeply. I left without saying anything because I didn't know how to express what was happening inside me. I didn't want to hurt you, but I see now that not offering any explanation hurt you more. I'm sorry for not being brave enough to talk it through. I didn't know how to explain the storm inside my head, and instead of sharing that with you, I left. I realize now that by leaving without words, I only left you with more pain, more questions, and more confusion. I regret that decision more than anything. Sometimes silence feels like the easiest way out, but I now understand that it wasn't fair to you. You deserved answers, even if they were difficult to hear. I'm sorry for the way I left and for the pain I caused you by not explaining myself. I left without an explanation because I was overwhelmed by my own emotions. I didn't know how to deal with them, and I couldn't bring myself to share that with you. Now, I see that avoiding the conversation only created more distance between us, and I'm sorry. My leaving without any explanation was my way of dealing with my confusion, but I see now that it only left you in a much darker place. I should have faced the discomfort, should have talked to you about what I was feeling, and for that, I am sorry.